Yeah, they definitely have had to, to survive. I mean, I think that, that's just evolution of football. I mean, everybody adjusts along the way. I think the biggest thing is personnel. People have made adjustments personnel-wise. People have made adjustments as far as how they coach things, technique-wise, whether it be up front, the defensive ends or D-line. They've made adjustments as to how they teach where to put their eyes, things like that, and then how they practice, because you have to practice a certain way to be prepared for game day, what you're going to see on game day. So I think all of those things have helped, and then I think defenses have gone no huddle as well, and have learned how to shorten some things and signal things. So the communication part of it has improved a ton. So I think it's a combination of all those things that's changed from a tempo standpoint.
How are the personalities of an offense and the defense different? Particularly Clemson, you mentioned the buses.
Oh, they're just different birds. I mean, that's just, they're just totally different. Receivers are different from DBs. Running backs are different from linebackers. Offensive linemen are different from defensive linemen. It's just different. And it's always been that way, forever.
When you think back to 2011, when you played Virginia Tech back then, and where their program was then, and now 5 years later where you are at and where their program is, can you see the parallels between them and you from those two times?
Well, I mean, we're both right where we were back then. We're both in the championship game, and both coming off division championships, good seasons. So not much has changed in that regard. I mean, I think for us, I mean, Virginia Tech, under Coach Beamer, I mean, as consistent a program as there is in the country. They were, 10-win seasons over and over and over, bowl games. Nobody looked forward to playing Virginia Tech, that's for sure. He and his program were a model of consistency. And, I'm thankful that now, since 2011, we can look back and say, okay, well, man, this is our 4th title game, and we've been incredibly consistent as a program. So I think, if anything, we've kind of grown to be a little bit more of the type of program that they were for all those years under Coach Beamer. But, they're right back where they've always been, competing for championships. And, especially since they've joined this conference, they've done a heck of a job. And Justin will do a great job. They made a great hire in Justin, and the fact that he kept Bud and that all worked out, I think it's a really good situation for Virginia Tech. They'll be a really consistent team for many years to come. I don't have any doubt about it.
How would you compare Mike Williams with Sammy and Duke and some of the other great receivers?
Well, they're all different. I mean, but he's tremendous. I mean, he's just awesome. I think he's the most complete that we've had coming out. Of course, he's here 4 years too. But I think he's the most complete guy that we've had. He's got similar attributes. Nuke was still developing physically, still developing as a receiver, and obviously he's a great player. All those guys are first-round picks, but I think Mike is the biggest challenge of all of them, because his combination. I mean, he's 225 pounds and can run and change direction. He can sink his hips. He's got Nuke's ball skills. He's incredibly intelligent. He's passionate about the ball. He's passionate about his technique and his discipline of his route running, and it's just like Sammy was. And he's a load. He's a load. He's going to be a great pro. I don't know who's winning the Biletnikoff. I don't know if he's even on the list. But I know who's getting picked first. That guy. That's what I told Sammy. I remember sitting there with Sammy. We were at the Biletnikoff Award that year, and I don't know who won it. I'm sure he's a great player. Who was it?
Marquise Lee, USC.
Okay, all right. Well, we were at the award show, and you know, he didn't win the award, and I said, well, I'll tell you what, you didn't win that, you'll be picked first, and he was, you know, and it's the same with Mike. I don't need to see anybody else out there. This guy there's none better, and I've made my living coaching wideouts forever, and there ain't none better. His size, his length, his toughness, his IQ, his speed, and explosiveness is just rare. He's a rare guy, and he's just a blue collar, low maintenance country boy. I mean, he's just simple. He is a simple kid, and easy to coach, man. He's a great one.
Coach, you players for the past couple of weeks have been referring to November as championship season. When did you first start preaching it to the players? Because the hardware you got next to the Christmas tree, obviously, has been working.
Yeah, how y'all like the Christmas trees? Isn't that nice? Got everybody's picture on there. We got you on there, Larry Williams, so we have to get you on there. Nice picture right there. That's nice. I don't even know who did all that. They did a great job with that. Well, we just kind of break, we've been doing that for a while, several years. We break the year into the year's the journey. And we have 4 phases of our year. We got the get ready phase, we've got the transformation phase, prime time phase, and championship phase. And that's how we go about our year. And there's no shortcuts. You gotta win each phase. You know, we're having success in November because of what we did in our get ready phase back in January and February and March. And we're winning in November because what we did in our transformation phase, you know, when we came out of spring and took it into the summer. So it all builds on top of each other, and that's just what we do.
So I'm guessing too that you don't think that your guys are worried at all about any additional pressure because of what's at stake, if you guys can.
No, man, there's no different pressure than any other game. It's at stake every week. You know, it really is. I mean, it was at stake at Auburn. It was at stake versus Troy. It was at stake versus Georgia Tech. It was at stake versus Syracuse. It was at stake every single week. If you're worried about all that stuff, you know, so we just try to just have the best season we can have. There's not a single goal up there that says go to the playoff. There's nothing up there that says win the national championship. We don't control that. I mean, we could go undefeated and somebody could say, no, we don't like y'all. I mean, you got people out there that want to put USC up there. They've lost 3 ball games. Now all of a sudden the season don't count. So now all of a sudden it's more about your brand than it is, okay, well, how you play. Games matter, or at least they should matter. And so, you know, again, we could go undefeated and somebody may say, well, we don't like y'all. Got plenty of them people out there. We don't like y'all, so y'all don't get to go. Well, we don't, okay, we just want to be the best we can be. That's all we want to do. We just want to be the best we can be. And sometimes being the best you can be is impacted by a lot of things. I mean, you can have injuries and you might be 8-4. Does that mean you're a bad team? No. That might, you know what? Hey, you had a heck of a year. Maybe you lost a couple of really close games. You know, you had some turnovers. Does that mean the team was bad? Does that mean they didn't play hard? Does that mean they didn't give great effort? Does that mean they weren't committed? Does that mean they didn't practice with passion? Absolutely not. But sometimes that's just the way it is. And so you celebrate that, you go on to the next one. But no, we want to win our conference. That's what we want to do. But the pressure is internal about playing to the standard that we talk about, being the best that we can be. If we do that, then you can look at the man in the mirror and smile at him. Well, you live with whatever results you get. So that's just the philosophy that we have. And we all know, I mean, if we win this game, we're going to most likely get a chance to go to the playoff. That'd be great. I think we're one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team in the country. That'd be great to have that opportunity. If we don't win it, we're going to be in a great bowl game with a great matchup, and we'll be excited to go play that game. I mean, we just don't sit around and worry about, you know, if this and if that, and we'll, we just go play the game, do the best you can, live with the result.
What are your memories of that 2011 ACC championship game? How special was that to get your first ACC?
Yeah, it was very special. Because obviously that was the first one, and we hadn't done it. We had gotten there in 09 and came up a little short. And then to get back 2 years later and to win it, and do something that hadn't been done here in 20 years or whatever at the time, that was huge. It was just, just kind of climbing the mountain, you just winning some battles along the way, and that was a big one for us. And I'll always be so proud of that team for, finding a way to win and getting it done. It was an awesome night. It was incredible. I remember coming back after coming home from the game, and there must have been 3,000 people here. It was just unbelievable to see how excited people were for that team, and to see that team celebrated like that. It was awesome. And then last year's team, with the pressure that was on that team, and how they handled that and how they just gutted it out. Literally gutted it out. And we were a team. Gutted it out. Gutted it out. Gutted it out.
I guess cereal.
Yeah, that's what they do at the Smoking Pig all the time. But last year's team and managing the pressure of undefeated, #1 in the rankings. Everybody, oh my God, can we get to the playoff? Can Clemson take another step? And now you got to go play a North Carolina team who's really good, and we're literally on fumes. And again, I always have such great appreciation for just the will to win of that team, and the type of fight that they had in them, and how we didn't always play great, but we just kept finding ways to win. And then this year's team to get back, we haven't had back-to-back ACC champions. First time we've had this opportunity. It's a big deal. We hadn't won back-to-back titles in 28 years here. So it's what it's all about for us. Anything that comes out after this, hey, that's great, and we're excited for it. But our goal is to win this league. That's our goal.
Do you think that win in 2011 helped set the stage for what you've been able to do the past 5 years?
Certainly, there's no question. Everything we've done since 09 has set the stage for where we are right now. Every decision that we've made, recruiting, graduation, you name it. Everything that has taken place in this program since 09 has helped get us to where we are right now. Even the losses, the wins, everything, you name it. It's all part of where we are.
You guys had obviously a lot of success from Dexter and Christian on the defensive side of the ball, but you guys have had some good success using them on offense too as blockers in that jumbo package. How much do those two enjoy getting to play on that side of the ball, and what's it like for you as a coach, kind of seeing those two behemoths go out and maul people on offense?
They've done a great job outside of one play, and they actually did a pretty good job on that one play this year. They've been very consistent. They have fun with it, and it's something that we'll continue to take advantage of as long as we got them here. Why wouldn't you? In certain situations, but proud of them. Dexter he's just an amazing young person. He really is. They're very similar in the type of people that they are. Different backgrounds, but very similar as far as they're just very good-natured young guys that love people, that love life, and they're passionate about being great at everything that they do, school, football, and you can't give them enough. They whatever you ask them to do, they do it with a smile on their face. Christian's been a great mentor for Dex. Christian is, I was talking to somebody yesterday, but he was like a senior when he got here last year. Literally, he was like a senior. That's how mature he is, and Dex is very similar. So yeah, it's been great. Been great watching them, and fun to see Christian have some neat opportunities to get a touchdown here and there, you know, hopefully there'll be some more of those along the way.
How much time do they actually spend working on offense, like during the week?
Yeah.
Is it a weekly thing, or is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, we have our short yards goal line periods, we'll have some walkthrough time, we'll coordinate with the defense on, okay, hey, we need them this period, and we'll make sure it's a period where, okay, they can cut them loose. So we just have to match it up, but, you know, like I said, they're smart guys, it's not rocket science. I mean, we just get a little bit of reps here and there, and then the rest is natural God-given ability. Just take that 340 and go that way, and we got a chance. You got that guy, so we just keep it simple, but we have to spend a little time each week working our package with them.
Virginia Tech has kind of an old school fullback at number 45.
Yep.
Rogers kid. What do you think of him? And do you think the fullback is that an endangered species in football now?
Well, I think he's a heck of a player. I think he's a old school traditional fullback type of a guy. No, I mean, I think that, you know, the days of just everybody getting, even in the NFL, you don't see it a whole lot. You know, just guys getting in the I formation, and here's the fullback, and they're going to run the blunt play, and they're going to run the power play, and they run the toss 10 times. You know, you don't see that as much. You see it still some. I think there's still a need for that, for sure. And I think, but I think a lot of teams have gone to a little bit more hybrid tight end guys that can do those same things, but also be on the line type of tight ends and athletic enough guys to split out and create some matchups in the passing game. So that's kind of, you know, what a lot of teams have gone to. He's a good football player. He can run the ball. I mean, he gashed Virginia. He's a tough guy.
Dabo, in the aftermath of the game Saturday night and the things that were said, I know you said you talked to your players. I'm curious if you heard from Will Muschamp or reached out to him, or where does that stand now?
About what? What particular thing you talking about?
Well, there was talking, you know, the players and the accusation that were made. You said you talked to your team, and you know, I just was curious. I know D-Rad said he talked to you, and Ray Tanner's talked. I just didn't know.
No, I mean, it is, you know, it is what it is. It's a shame, you know, that you know, that you know, a diversion to take away from what happened on the field. It's disappointing. You know, listen, you know, I give young people some grace. Young people will say some things from time to time, and, you know, emotion or whatever. I don't have a problem giving young people some grace. The only problem I have is some of the media people. You know, I don't give them much grace. They don't give me none either. But, you know, and I'm not necessarily talking about the people in this room. I'm talking about, you know, some of the people who, I mean, it's just like there's no credibility anymore. I mean, you don't need to confirm anything anymore. Just write it. Somebody said what? Headlines. They don't care. Shoot first, ask questions later. That's the mentality that we have now in the media, and it's a shame. It really is a shame, because you're attacking people's character. But there won't be no retraction. There won't be an apology. You just attack somebody's character anytime you want, so if you have the power of the pen or blog or whatever. And that used to not be that way. You know, back in the day, you had relationships and people would like ask you. And but now, hey man, I was in the bathroom and the guy in the third stall was on the phone and said this, and that's what I heard, and man, it's headlines. And because that's what sells, and that's the disappointing thing. There's zero accountability. Zero. You let me say something? I mean, none. No accountability whatsoever. You know, and it's there. I mean, that's instead of the headline being, you know, 23-1 in the last 2 years. Instead of the headline being these seniors just won their 46th game. Instead of the headline being the largest margin of victory ever for an ACC versus SEC opponent. Instead of the headline being, you know, we've only had 6 11-win seasons in the history of Clemson. We've had 4 in the last 5 years. 4 of those. Instead of those being the headlines and one of the most dominant performances ever The headline is, what somebody, give me a break. Give me a break. And again, I'll give grace to the young people. It ain't about that. I give total grace to that. But for the adults who will take anything and go and write it and spin it and headline it the way they want it to get people to click on it, man, shame on them. But that's the world we live in. And that's sad. With zero accountability. A lot of those people should be fired. They should be fired. They should be. But there's no accountability. People with a microphone, they just say whatever they want to say. Don't matter how they attack people's character, attack, whatever. They don't say that. You don't win the amount of football games that you trying to cut me off.
Yeah. It's already gone to June.
Good question.
It's already been the longest press conference of the year.
All right, nice seeing y'all.